Hello and welcome to Vaesen, the Devil You Know. I am the Scarred Adventurer, the great and mighty narrator of this game. Our game is Vaesen, a Nordic horror role-playing from Free Press. No, from Free League Publishing. That's what I said that wrong. Oh dear. I'm off to a great start. Our background artist from Pixabay and our character artist from Marcia Johnseth. Her Discord name is below. Contact her for any art you'd like done. Now, normally we do an intro to our players and what they do right at the beginning of the show. We are still doing that, but this is just our content warning for the game you are about to see. Now, the game Vaesen, a Nordic horror role playing is just what it sounds like, a horror tabletop role playing game. We will be dealing with sensitive and potentially upsetting issues. Anything can happen in the story we are going to play out. Characters can die, they can be brutally hurt and traumatized, and we may deal with some fairly adult themes. My players all have an X card that they can play at any time should something be too much. But you, as the audience, don't have the same power. So I want to warn you in advance. This is not a show for children, the faint of heart, or those uncomfortable with horror based themes. Now, I'm not asking you to forego the show. In fact, I'm doing quite the opposite. I just want you to prepare for the worst. There's no shame in choosing something else to enjoy, as your safety is priority. Now, with that all having been said, if you choose to stick around, I really hope you enjoy what we bring you. Be good to yourself, and as we always say at Dirty 20 Gaming, be nice to each other and enjoy the show. Now, each of these wonderful and slightly crazy people have agreed to join us for the game tonight. As we get them to introduce ourselves this session, we will start with Siosa. Please tell us what you do and what you are up to outside of this.
Uh, Largely I work, but I am also a writer. I've always got several projects in the fire. I'm not ready to promote any of them. I'm also not a streamer, so I'm not going to have anything to link you to like everybody else in this group. So I'll go ahead and pass it on.
All right, with that, we are now going to move on to Ruth. Ruth, please tell us what you do outside of this.
I'm in school. I'm almost done school for my to get my VMA certificate, and I'm heading into practicum in January, which is exciting and scary, but I'm really excited. I've always had a passion for medicine, but I didn't want to be a human doctor. So, animals. I love animals. Um, so that's exciting. I'm also in the Tuesday game as Exit. And don't worry, Charlie, I also don't have anything to link. That's
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna pass it on.
All right, with that, we are going to move on to the wonderful Sarah Sands. Please tell us what you are up to outside of this.
Okay, I was not expecting to be called that today.
Yes, I
Um,
did. And also, I understand, Ruth, humans suck. Um,
so Wait, now I have to remember this. So I do have a YouTube channel and a Twitch channel called Tango Productions, where I do stream on normally on Mondays and Wednesdays by myself, playing Undertale on Mondays and currently Cult of the Lamb on Wednesdays. I am working on a very cool project called Bravely Broken with the Scarred Adventurer. Um, I also play on the Tuesday game as Magic, and I run the Thursday game of King's Pyrite, a Fool's Gold campaign. I think that is it. I think that is all the stuff. I don't remember. Ah.
all right. Well, then, with that, we are going to move on to Rory. Please tell us what you do outside of this.
Hello. Normally when I'm not here on stream, I'm trying to work on music. I produce under the stage name Raker. I've mostly been posting IDs and stuff to SoundCloud just because I haven't had time to get a ton actually finished, but I'm hoping to get more stuff up there soon. I'm hoping to get more stuff up on TikTok as well, and kind of hoping to start streaming again, but who knows? That's about it. I don't do a ton.
All right. And once again, I'm the Scarred Adventurer, the narrator of this game. When I'm not narrating, I'm here Tuesdays as Red Death in our Cyberpunk Red game, run by Bison Stonefist. Thursdays, I'm Kurt Augustine, or Red Warden, in our Fool's Gold campaign, King's Pyrite, run by Sarah. And finally, I'm working with Tango Productions to eventually bring you Bravely Broken. Yes, eventually. And now we are going to begin our proper session. We open upon the sovereign city of Salaka. The year is 1876. Salaka is a grand trading center in the northern region. While not heavily defended, many countries have a vested interest in keeping Salaka independent and out of the clutches of other nations. This has especially been the case since the war between Salaka and Kandrich that ended only 10 months ago. The city is broken up into 8 different districts: the Heights, Ferry Bridge, Clearpoint, Gray's Dock, Dawn Garden, the Sun Docks, Shadows Rest Park, and Castle Greenwood. Finally, while the city is run by its mayor Arnold Fitzopoulos, it is also run by the guilds of Salaka, the merchants, sailors, and smiths guilds being chief among them. We find our players either already within the city or entering as of this moment in search of the man that has been appearing in their dreams, a man who simply calls himself Groundskeeper. They know little about the man besides what he looks like, and that he's calling them to find him. It would seem fate has a plan for them. We meet these players of fate and destiny already beginning their search. Where do we find you now? In the city or on the outskirts? Are you with anyone? What do you remember from your dreams that will help you find Groundskeeper? What was your dream of Groundskeeper? I now open the floor to my players to answer these questions and tell us a bit about who they are. I ran through a lot of stuff. Now it's
So Charlie is, some people think he's from the docks because he's been there so long, but that's actually not the case. He knows them in and out, and he would argue that in Salaka, the city is run by the gangs of thieves that operate in almost every district. He's familiar with a lot of them. He was part of one at one point. And he is, to all appearances, a very humble, menial laborer. He's got a flat cap, his clothes are usually dirty, he's often without shoes. That's not for lack of the ability to afford them, he's just frequently inclined to give them to somebody he thinks needs them more. Groundskeeper entered his dream in the middle of a nightmare, because nightmares are the only things that Charlie has when he sleeps. In his case, the first time that he saw him was coming out of a burning church. And from behind that burning church, he could hear the sounds of the chaplain who had raised him calling his name when he was a child, trying for any kind of aid to escape from the fire. And instead of simply seeing the opening that he remembered from his own memories, he saw the groundskeeper emerging with one arm, with a peg leg, with hair that was gray, a long beard, numerous other details that he kind of committed to his memory, and he turned into drawings, drawings that he has since had copied at a printing press and plastered over most of the docks, so that every kid who knows Charlie knows to look for this man and tell him if they see him. His method isn't so much to go searching as to send out a net and see if anything comes back.
Agot has been kind of in and out of the city the last little while. He finds these drawings of this person he's been seeing in his dreams, and as he goes back and forth restocking his cart of furs to trade with people, he's been also asking around and trying to find somebody else who has actually seen this person in their dreams, and trying to find a starting point for his search, I suppose. Most of the time he's out in the woods, but like maybe half hour's walk from the city's edge, hunting and living off the land and just trying to get by. But when he had this dream a little while ago by now, he saw this strange man standing in the fog, kind of outside of his log cabin, and he kind of readied his rifle to kind of scare away this trespasser, and then with a gust of wind and a big cloud of fog, this man just disappeared. No sound, no message. And then as he approached the position where this man had once stood, he just saw scratched in the ground, "Find me." It was pretty confusing for a simple hunter man like himself, but he's dedicated himself to this because it must mean something. He's on his way through the city now with a fresh cart of furs, hoping to trade and hoping to find some answers this time.
So to give you some idea, currently Agate is knowing the city well enough. He's gone to the docks. Specifically, he's gone to, oh, there's so many. He's gone to the Sun Docks. Sun Docks? Yeah, the Sun Docks. I made a giant map. There's a lot of stuff. He's gone to the Sun Docks to kind of look around to see if he can find A, someone to sell these, and B, he's noticing a lot more of these posters have been put up around Sun Docks than they have been around Gray's Dock. And Charlie, for you, you've heard some whispers that there might be someone who knows a little bit about this man at a place called The Rest, a pub by Ferry Bridge. However, currently you're still at the docks posting posters, but one of your wonderful little web of informants has come to talk to you and let you know about this. In the
Charlie
distance,
has
you
a practice whenever he has, one of the informants. He usually gets down on his knees so that he's eye level with whatever kid it is, has some information. He tends to provide what he can for anything. Sometimes it's like some food that's left over from the last job he was working. Sometimes it's a few coins. Unless he has reason to believe that they're just making something up. And even then, he usually assumes that they're making something up because they need a meal. But he does what he normally does. He drops down to a knee. He recognizes the kid. He's like, "Trouble, you got something for me?"
well, yes, I do. See, the thing that we've got is, well, we've heard something that there's a man who understands or would rather know many people enough to be able to say that they might recognize this person. Um, they just call him Chief. He's the owner at the Rest. You know the place by Ferry Bridge?
I do have worked there before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, if you remember who Chief is, he'd be quite happy to see you then. Um, but we just need to get you we just need to I'm sorry, Charlie, but that's really all I know.
I'll take it. Thank you. Yeah, he has like a few coins. His coin purse is almost always empty, but it's enough that it's going to be getting the kid a meal, and so he's happy to part with it.
Oh, thank you, Charlie. You always know just what a young boy needs. And then he's off, running past a man carrying carts of furs, and who definitely seems out of place in the docks. I'm going to quickly move over to see what Lily or Anya are doing at this very moment.
So Lily would be sitting at a table, and you called it the Rest,
The Rest.
with her deck of cards, shuffling, kind of waiting for the next person to come over, so she can do a reading for them. And she pulls. Yeah, I'm gonna do this now. Let's see how well this goes. And she just says, "Let me ask, and be swift. What is to pass this graveyard shift?" And she pulls the High Priestess straight up.
All right.
All right, can't be too bad.
Yeah, we're gonna.
And she's actually like waiting for something bad to happen.
The card seems to not really tell you much. All you know is that there's a woman who is quite helpful or lives virtuously, but whether or not that person is near or far or was willing to help you, something else to be discussed.
She puts it away and just goes back to shuffling and watching. Lily, because I didn't describe her, dark brown hair, darker eyes. She's not thin, but she is absolutely high society. Her outfits, the way that she holds herself, it does not fit in where she is right now. Even her dress, which is an upper lady's outfit, and she's clad in purples and silvers, doesn't fit in, I would say, almost at all with Salaka, at least not in this area.
While not quite fitting in, you do fit in to a slight degree. However, the sailors and that are known to frequent both sets of docks look at you more as someone who is here to try and hook up with one of them for a fun story. As most people from high society would be coming from the heights, and the only reason that they'd come down here is because they're bored with their husbands.
Yeah, she doesn't have a husband. She does not have anyone. So trust me, any of them that walk up to her get an immediate cold eye as if to say, move along.
Stone cold bitch. And they just walk away. Where would we find Anya at this time?
Currently, Anya is walking through town. She's just found one of the posters of the man she's been seeing in her dreams. And she remembers it as an almost exact to the one she saw in her dream.
All right.
The older man, one arm, well, one full arm, shabby wardrobe, peg leg, blondish hair with white, the eyes, the beard, she's confused as she kind of just passed it off as a dream that just keeps happening, a strange occurrence.
All right.
She, oh god, I never have a description in front of me, so I kept mine written out so that I could reference it. She's about 5'7". She has fair skin and pale grayish green eyes. Her hair is light ash brown, and it is in an updo with some of her curls having fallen out. It looks a bit messy, but put together nonetheless. Like somehow it looks put together, even though it's kind of messy. She has a simple white top on with a pinstriped vest. And she has just, it's not moving, but it's also not form-fitting. I don't know how to describe it. It's
Sure.
kind of, it's straight, but it flows. Yeah. And it has the same pinstripe pattern as her vest. It's a corseted vest. She has some simple piercings with some simple silver jewelry, and I keep distracting myself with different things. So she's found this poster and it clicks. It has to be connected. She is heading down to the Rest. Is that the...
That's the name of the bar.
Thank you. She's heading to the Rest to try and figure out who else has seen this man.
All right. So I'm going to move back the scene to Charlie and Agate for a moment.
Whoa, small child, be careful of my cart. It's not good hunting this week. Need to make money where I can. Hello, sir. Can I interest you in some furs, perhaps?
Charlie kind of notes where like one of the kids has like stopped up the cart and immediately looks to like the back of the cart and kind of gives a nope, knock it off to the two kids that are at the back trying to unload something. And he's like, furs are a little rich for me, sir. He says, if you've got some meat left over, something dried, you might be able to sell it at the market. Plenty of people are sick of fish.
Not today, but I will make note of it. Thank you.
Charlie Charlie opens the little journal. He's just gotten the information from the kid, and he flips it open, and on one side of it, there's like multiple drawings of the figure of the dreams, but from like different angles. You're clearly like the same hand that made the poster, and he starts to like write down the information that the kid gave him. But just for ease, it's definitely within Agate's line of sight.
You have also seen strange man with peg leg. Sorry, I did not mean to pry into journal. Just looking for answers anywhere can find them.
I doing the same, sir. Was actually just planning to head to a place that a young friend of mine told me about. That someone there might have some answers. Supposedly has seen him. So it's the best lead I've gotten in a few weeks. So
if it's not too much, do you mind if I come with? Perhaps we both find more information at this lead of yours.
And Charlie takes the little like stick of charcoal that he's got for writing with, and he just draws a little sigil on the back of the cart. That's just like a hand with an X through it that the local kids recognize as like, don't steal from this. It doesn't have any power over the gangs or whatnot, but it's something that, the urchins who do most of the petty thievery will recognize. So he's quick and subtle as he does it, but then he falls into step with the hunter.
So with that, you've all managed to find yourselves, after having parked your wagons and found your way and found potentially a nice way to just get in, you've all found yourself within the Rest. And for some inexplicable reason, you catch each other's eyes in a way that suggests a deeper meaning, a deeper connection than you may be ready to admit or understand yet. It's something that tells you you are connected.
Anya kind of just makes her way over to Lily. Hi, you seem like someone who has a fair amount of knowledge. And she like shows her the poster. Have you seen this man?
That's him.
Him.
I
You've seen him.
he I spirits talk to me, but he's been one of the most disruptive.
Spirits.
I thought he was just that. All I ever saw was a pair of yellow eyes. In the message, find me.
He spoke to me.
He actually spoke to you.
I mean, it was as I was waking up, so I could have just been imagining it. It was a whisper. Find me. I've never gone looking for a man in my life. Or anyone for that matter. But find him. You've the dream.
I. A dream for me as well.
Was
And
there
the
a
same
specific
words.
location?
I got brought to the city and then, well, the deck didn't tell me much more.
All right. For me, it started at the hospital.
Here, sit. I'm Lily O'Connell, by the way.
I'm Anya.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. But do you do readings for money?
I do. Um, I'll warn you though, my ability is not that great. And I'm sorry, my accent is all over the place. I cannot get this Irish down for anything.
It's
Pity the lads who
okay.
can't get her Irish.
It's okay. I put in a period of time in her backstory where she was in England for school so that I had an excuse to not fully do a Norwegian accent because it's difficult.
Yeah, this accent is gonna change very much.
Yeah.
So Agate and Charlie, you see these two women interacting. And you see one of them holding your poster. Are you also going to make your way over?
My new friend, they over there, they have one of your posters. Seems they may also know something.
They do. That woman's a, that that woman's a noble though. He kind of like nods towards Lily, like based on the clothing and everything. Says you can catch a beating if you just walk up and talk to one.
Well,
He does kind of like he recognizes Anya though, although Anya might not recognize him because he was like 4 years younger when you brought somebody into the clinic that she was working at. I believe is what we had mentioned in backstories.
She had a moment of recognition when there was that moment of everyone looking at each other.
Yeah, so Charlie kind of like tips his flat cap at her, but doesn't approach a table of two women without like invitation.
being a kind of slightly more barbaric hunter, he just Aegot walks over. Hello, pardon the intrusion, but I see you have talking about this poster. I've been all over the city recently trying to find someone else who has seen this strange peg-legged man. Do you mind if I would join the conversation?
Bring your friend over as well.
Yeah, yes.
Charlie does follow after the
Gestures.
damage is done.
um, as he gets closer and like kind of sits down, anyone who's kind of looked him in the face sees this like strange um symbol of like interwoven lines, kind of like kind of Celtic knot style, oddly, that forms this like eye-like shape on his crudely hewn leather eye patch. It's like it has a weird subtle glow, but no one else seems to be giving him strange looks for it. But he stretches out a hand. Stretches out a hand both directions, accidentally crossing his arms. Egot, pleasure to meet both of you.
Uh, and Charlie like tips his hat. Charlie.
Anya. She shakes one of the hands, probably the one that's closer.
Lily makes a point to continue to shuffle her deck as she's talking to you all, and will not reach out to anyone's hands. But she says to both of you, why don't you sit down? We can talk and maybe find out what each other knows.
I guess my question is the dream. You saw him in the dream, right?
I saw him in several dreams.
I couldn't really decipher the location. The hospital turned into another building.
Charlie says he was where I was when I was having my dreams. When he showed up, he was at whatever I was dreaming about.
It was same for me. I see him stood in the forest outside my cabin, just in the fog, and the wind blew and he disappeared. And did not glean much, sadly.
As you were discussing this, a fairly tall individual walks over to you, fit, strong, and he seems friendly despite the myriad of scars that cover him.
Is this Chief?
This is Chief.
Yeah.
It's good to see you again, Charlie.
Yeah. Charlie gives him one of those like handshakes. It's like, thumb grab, a little bit of fist bump. Like we've been acquainted and worked many times.
Yeah. So, seeing as you're all acquaintances of Charlie, what can I get you guys?
An ale, something light, preferably, and nothing too impairing for the present moment.
Charlie kind of like the corned beef's really good.
All right, I'm hearing one corned beef. And
doubt you have it, but do you have whiskey?
We're a trading port. Of course we have whiskey.
Dram, please.
You got it.
I'll also have a whiskey, please.
Understood. And there's a brief moment where Chief stops talking and he looks down at the poster that has somehow neatly managed to be framed by the four of you sitting around it. How? I don't know. It just seems to be one of those cinematic things that happens.
Dramatic effect.
Yes. And he looks at that and goes, "Why are you all staring at a photo of my uncle?"
This is going to sound crazy. I thought I was crazy at first. He's been showing up in my dreams, every dream I've had since it turns out that it has been for the other three as well. You know him.
He looks at you all, and a look of a very brief look of understanding washes over his face. And his eyes suddenly turn to amber and then back to bright, bright green.
What do you know?
Monday's child is fair of face. Tuesday's child is full of grace. Wednesday's child is full of woe, and Thursday's child has far to go. Friday's child is loving and giving. Saturday's child works hard for a living. And the child born on the Sabbath day is bonny and blithe and good and gay. I don't think any of you recognize what you are yet.
I'm a medical professional.
You're Thursday's children. You can see.
Charlie tips the book that he has in his hand from like the pictures that were of the groundskeeper. It looks like while they were sitting there, he was starting to kind of like draw out Agate's eye patch, like in the pattern on it. He was just copying it down. But he tips it forward, perhaps a dozen pages, where there's drawings of monstrosities. There's like a shadowy spider thing with too many eyes even for a spider. There's another of what looks like two halves of an undead man. And Charlie kind of like, the problem is I can't stop seeing things.
It's not going to stop anytime soon. The man you're looking for, his name is Vaesen. Anya will know where he is. It's the Johann von Strauss Institute for the Mentally Infirm.
That's why I recognize the building.
Now, do you want those whiskeys to go, or do you want to stay and eat for a while?
Does he work there, or is he there someone else as well?
He's there of his. Whether or not that means what it means is what it means to you.
It would seem we have some time. Perhaps we collect ourselves. Not to rush into something we have little knowledge of.
Well, then a round of corned beefs and whiskeys. And for you, an ale.
Much
Although, for a
appreciated.
meeting of the kind of you, there is a chance mead would be more appropriate. As the foundation of a partnership.
If it is,
I do warn, it tastes like horse piss, but it's tradition.
I suppose what alcohol doesn't. If is, how you say, in good faith to do so, then I will oblige.
So with that, Chief walks off, back behind the bar, toward the kitchen, and doesn't return for a little bit.
So, what is it that you all want to do then?
That I am not sure yet. I'd like to know why he is in my dream and what is purpose of finding him. But beyond that, I have no questions to ask this strange man when I do find him. So I don't know. Perhaps I am ill prepared, but is the first interesting thing to happen in many years.
Charlie will look to Anya and he'll say, "You know the building?
Yes.
How well?"
I've had to go there a few times. I'd say it's familiar, but I don't know it like I know the hospital.
Then Charlie will turn to like a blank page and go. He's familiar with the building as he's been through most of the city, but like it's at a very like cursory level that he starts to like draw the entrances that he remembers and the grounds that are immediately around it.
From what you remember, from what both of you remember, is it is a strangely nice building for what is very clearly an asylum, especially one called the Institute for the Mentally Infirm. It seems rather clean and well kept.
I'm not from here, so I don't know how I can be of help with you all.
Well, an extra body, not just a body, of course, but you may know things we don't. The spirits, right? I've never really understood all that, but
not
Lily, you're getting a strange urge to pull from your deck.
Yeah, you see her get even like anxious and just like, shut up. Yeah, no, it's gonna be British. Fuck it. Shut up. Fine, fuck it. Fuck.
The second you pull the card, it doesn't matter what you've actually pulled in real life. Because what it says on the card itself is sideways. It says the words, "Find me."
She chucks it down as fast as she can.
And the second you pull it back up, and the second it hits the table, it no longer says "Find me." It simply says "The Hermit."
Yeah, she puts it back in, shuffles it back in, and doesn't say it. She's like, we if you all could just
is
find
that
him.
a scary card?
I wouldn't say scary, just more them that someone decided to be fecking with it.
Well, it was in your deck, so unless you did something with it, I don't know how anyone else could fuck with it.
I don't know how anybody could wander in my dreams, but somebody has been.
What happened to it?
It said, "Find me."
Well, then I think that means we need to find it.
I think we leave poor Captain or Chief or whatever his name is. And I think we just go. I can leave some.
I forgot to mention she does have medical supplies on her, as well as some of her instruments in a holster.
Also, Anya is making very a point to keep her arms completely covered. So even if it starts to move up, she pulls
Anya
it
or
back
Lily?
Down. Oh, Lily. I'm gonna start messing up our names.
It's not even two of the players that share the A at the beginning of their name.
Charlie will pipe in and say, I don't know about what you can see, but I do know a lady that's well dressed and of good bearing in this city can't be ignored, even when others would very much like to. If we're going to try to get him out of there, and it sounds like that's what he wants, then if you can be loud, you can be a distraction.
I mean, I can do things that no one else can. I worry if we open that box, I don't know if I can get back. If I can come back.
I'm just talking about some yelling.
I mean, I can try, but yelling isn't exactly what I do.
Can you be very, very unhappy with someone?
I can.
You've got money and you've got bearing. A place at a place where they're keeping people locked up, then that's gonna get attention.
Get to the point. What's the plan?
I don't want you all to get in trouble for if I'm causing a distraction.
Well,
I can get us in there.
then you get him back out.
I'm afraid that I would probably lose my job.
Chief does arrive with your sandwiches and drinks at this point.
Curly will lift the drink and for a toast with everybody.
And what are we toasting to?
Luck and misadventures.
What could be more toastable than that?
All right then.
Charlie will look to see if the others are going to join.
Yes. It is settled, I agree. No need for plan, it seems, in a case such as this. Kind of bump mugs with whoever is raised theirs and quickly chug his drink.
Anya quickly and then downs
Yep.
the whiskey.
Lily does the same.
But Charlie, we've been told to find him. Nothing else. We don't need to make assumptions on what to do from there.
Well, I'm
just
not gonna
yet.
carry him off against his will if he wants to stay there. But it seems like he's pretty emphatic about being found.
So with that, are you guys going to go to the Johann von Strauss Institute for the Mentally Infirm? All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep.
As you make your way through to the Johann van Strauss Institute for the Mentally Infirm, it is a mouthful that I'm going to have to say every time when I say that. From where you are in Fairy Bridge, you cross through Clearpoint all the way to the very ironically named Dawn Garden, which while having a lovely name, is, as most Salakans would describe it, as the city slums. The area is highly populated, even for the city the world forgets. This seems to have been forgotten by those governing the city. It is home to many gangs, brothels, asylums, and other things that the city might want to sweep under the rug. That being almost everything that there is. As you make your way to the Johann von Strauss Institute for the Mentally Infirm, it's just a large set of double doors. And Anya, having already being someone who knows the people here. Oh dear, where is it? I put this somewhere. Now it's gone. Anyways, you do walk into the Johann von Strauss Institute for the Mentally Infirm, often politely called by the less reputable in the city as the House of Hells. Anya, being the doctor, manages to get you in, and you are met by the head physician, named Augustus Montgomery. Ah, Anya, it's good to see you again.
You as well. We are looking for a patient.
Ah, well, for one of our favorite doctors, we would be happy to find you your patient.
This is not in character. I forgot what you said his name was.
Augustus Montgomery.
No, 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 no. I
Oh,
thought he said the name of.
Starassen.
Wait, so quick question. I
Starassen.
heard,
Sturassson.
is it the same name as the place that we are currently at?
Nope.
Okay, so I heard it's the same one. So that's a good clarification.
No, it is Sturassen. Sturrasson. For those who want to write it down.
Okay, could you just say that one more? Okay.
Starassen. N as in Nigel.
Oh, my bad.
Ah, lovely. Semantics of spelling. The real horror of this show.
His name's Strassen.
Oh, the only patient we have here by that name would be old Gills. He doesn't really talk to many people. Likes to keep to himself. But if you want to, he should be in the courtyard.
All right, thank you very much.
No problem. And if you need anything, Anya, you know, we're here.
I
We're
know,
always
thank you.
here. And then he just seems to disappear into nothing. Not in any mysterious way. He just walks away as your head is turned. You can't find him once you turn it again.
A good guy, really. And she's gonna start leading everyone to the courtyard.
In the courtyard, it is still fairly nicely kept. It is kept fairly nice. This entire place is very wrong for what a asylum would normally be. It's clean, it's friendly, and it doesn't seem to be horribly mistreating their patients. And no one you have met so far looks like they have been lobotomized in any way.
Anyone with a high degree of empathy can tell that Charlie is very much on edge, regardless.
Still, as you walk in the corner, sitting by a game of checkers with no one else playing, you see him, Gilles Starassen. Sitting alone and not really seeming to be making any attempt to look at anything but the checkerboard. He's planning his next move.
Is he losing or winning?
Depends on who you ask. If you ask Gills, then he'll say, "Well, I'm playing both sides.
No,
I am
no, I'm
winning
not
no matter
asking. I'm
what."
actually just looking at the board and
Oh no,
determining.
it's impossible to tell
Okay.
at this point in time. Does anyone
Hey,
approach him?
he with a very loud he'll kind of take a couple cautious steps towards the game and hello, Mr. Storassen. Uh, I hope I'm not interrupting the thrilling game you have.
Playing with oneself is often more thrilling than playing a man who knows you better than anyone else. For that is what playing oneself is. And I'm sorry, who the hell are you?
Uh, this may sound like I am meant to be in this building instead of visiting it, but you have oddly enough been appearing in my dreams as of late, and you have been beckoning me and my friends to gestures to the group, find you for a reason your dream self has left unexplained. And, perhaps is just you need company. So if you don't mind, I'll go and like sit down across the board and just kind of like examine where the game's at.
He looks at all of you for a good long while. Then quietly to himself says, "Damnable fates. Oh, fucking hell, the little bastards, the pieces of shite that live in this exact world that make everything. You've all been dreaming of me."
And you seem to know what might be causing it.
It would seem a turning of fate has inspired this tete-a-tete, this meeting of minds.
And why do you think or know that is?
Because fate once did the same thing to me. Thursday's children.
What did they...
And on the anniversary, of course it would. You have been summoned by fate and destiny to save or condemn this world. He moves several checker pieces in an order that seem almost illogical and random.
Question. Is he abiding by the rules of checkers when he does so?
Yes.
Okay. Does it significantly change the outcome of who would be in the lead?
It changes the fact that now both sides are losing.
That's hard to do.
Yet somehow you understand that that's what's happened. You have been summoned by an old and ancient group. Well, ancient being a term that... What do you qualify as ancient? That's a philosophical debate for another time. You see, 51 years ago, there was a group called the Society of Vaesen that has since fallen apart and no longer exists. But what do you call the creatures you see?
Devils, spirit, aberration, demon tree, maybe.
Well, today
not
forward
great
you
at
shall
naming.
know them by their real name. They are called Vaesen. And the Society of Drausen was built to deal with problems that the blind folks couldn't see. And now fate has chosen you. There's usually more than four. Someone seems to be missing. But still, it seems to have chosen you lot. To now deal with the problems of the unseen world. Damnable fate. Damnable destiny. No.
I just spelled problems with a B.
This confuses me, but not enough to continue losing what I was doing. Thank you, Doctor, for your problems.
No worries.
Now, it seems the society is summoning you. And you may either take the call or be cursed to continue being called by it. You're not really given a lot of options, unfortunately.
And what exactly are we being... I mean, what does it entail? The same thing happened to you, so do you know?
You must recreate the society of Drausen. Protect the world from the new oncoming wave of the Vaesen. You will find your way to there. In the Castle Greenwood. You
Yeah,
must get to
Charlie,
the Castle Greenwood.
that's the castle that you mentioned before, right? The one that has all
Yes.
the rumors about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Charlie clearly recognizes the name and shudders in response.
Good! This boy is afraid! He
I mean-
knows what to expect.
Isn't it hard for people to get there? I haven't heard of anyone who's actually made it. Or maybe the ones who did didn't return.
Well, of course not. Shadow's Rest Park has a way of keeping those away from Greenwood. You'll be needing this. And he hands you a small little token.
She reaches her hand out.
Hold it in your palm. And walk in a straight line. Or whatever sort of line the coin tells you to move in. Now, the coin doesn't speak, but
Is it
you'll
sort of like...
understand what I mean.
Is it a sort of compass? Do I look at it,
That
or
it
do
may
I
be.
just feel what it wants, where
I've
it wants
never
me to
quite
go?
understood the meanings of the coin to begin with. And since my retirement, I have no great desire to learn how that works now.
Does that mean you'd rather be here?
I have served my time. There is nothing you could do that would bring me back to Greenwood.
I'm not here to enlist you.
Good.
And Charlie sets down the sandwich, the corned beef sandwich that he knows is made by his nephew.
You've been speaking to Chief, haven't you?
That's his mustard.
You always had a good relationship with seeds, that Richard. I'll take it. He's not my nephew.
He calls you his uncle.
Yeah. Well, what would you expect when someone with the green eyes were to tell you that, oh, no, I recognize this person. I was with the... No, I'm not going to go into anything.
We have questions of you in the future. Can we come back?
You may try. But for now, get out of my sight. I need no more reminders of that place.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
Thanks for the coin.
Yes.
And the information.
When playing both sides, you often lose the game. He taps the board, and all the pieces seem to fall off of it.
Yeah,
He
that's
leaves
what
you with that one weird piece of wisdom that will make no sense to anyone now. or potentially ever.
As they're leaving, Lily anxiously turns around. And what if fate was wrong to choose you?
You have no choice in fate. And fate always knows what the fates know. Whether or not it's right or wrong is a question only fate seems to know. And even then, it doesn't really seem to be wanting to share it with us now, does it? Get out of... You can leave now. Especially since you're holding that ting.
With pleasure. And she walks away.
All right.
Yeah.
So you've all now visited the Johann von Strauss Institute of the Mentally Infirm.
Yeah, and Charlie's still kind of, he's like watching the rooftops. He's still like on edge by something about the place, looking for any signs of, creatures, Vaesen, nightmares hiding in it.
That would require an observation roll. Let's pretend we're playing a game.
Sure.
It's observation, right? Yeah, observation. You have no bonuses or negatives to it, so once you click it, just it's been a while since I've done it. And unfortunately, with no successes,
No,
you see
it didn't
Jack.
roll it right.
It did.
I rolled
So
7. Because I don't see any results.
exactly. So for the people that cannot see our wonderful VTT, and I'm not mentioning what our VTT is because I've been told not to. Not really. It's just we're not really mentioning it, and I didn't mention it earlier, so I'm not mentioning it now. But so the VTT, the way that this works is that any dice roll that is below a 6 does not appear. Every 6 that is rolled is considered a success. Anything below a 6 is considered a failure. And so when you roll a stat of, say, let's say you have 7 in a stat, or you have 5 in a stat and 2 in a skill, giving you 7 dice. It allows you to roll those dice, and it allows you to roll however many d6s that stat and that skill equal up to. With something such as with an amount of dice such as a 7, you would expect one of them to be successful. Unfortunately, this was not the case this time. So now you know a little bit more about
That's
the
on
game.
par for my luck.
It does work out that way. Anyone else, of course, can make the same roll if they are equally inclined to be suspicious.
One success.
All right.
I would agree that Agot is suspicious just off of the way everyone else is acting.
Anya, oh, Anya's not on edge, but she's kind of just trying to be passively aware of her surroundings. Would that be a vigilance roll?
Yes.
Okay.
And unfortunately, there were no successes for Agate either. And unfortunately, no successes for Anya Ronan either. And with that, there is a brief flit of a shadow that one can see, but it's it's out of the corner of your eye. And the second you try to focus on where it may have come from or where it may have gone, you can't see anything. So chances are equally good that it could have been a bird or something darker, or a bird or something darker.
Anya, you being quite, logic-minded. It's kind of just like it's nothing to worry about at this current moment. It's a shadow.
Oh no, only Lily sees the shadow.
Oh,
No one
sorry.
else catches any glimpse of anything.
Which doesn't necessarily set Charlie at ease.
Lily sees it, nods at it, kind of just in this like, I see you, I got you, I got your number, and keeps walking.
You hear a coo from far away. I'm kidding. It'd be great if that was what happened, though. Anyways, as where are you guys going next? Are you going directly
Yeah.
to try and find Castle Greenwood?
I'm following the coin.
For some reason, it's less like the coin moves. It doesn't shift in your hand in any way, shape, or form. It feels heavier in certain parts of the coin. Like when at some point you turn to the right and it's now heavier on the left side. When you turn back left, it's heavier to the front of you. It seems to just be heavy as its direction of pointing.
Is there a pattern on it as she's holding it up?
With no, is there a pattern on it?
Yes.
Give me another observation roll.
Oh boy. Nope. Good thing I'm super good at this.
I will also roll because it is in my hand.
I will give you a +1 to that. Considering it's in your hand. You don't have to angle yourself around to try and see in someone's hand.
Can I try?
Of course. I'm not going to stop anyone from trying to get more information.
2 successes.
Yes, it's dusty, but it's very clear that that is the Vegsevere, or what is called the Viking compass.
Lily.
It is the simple concept of not all those who wander are lost.
Lily puts out her hand to Anya. May I give it a shot?
For sure.
And she takes it and tries to start like listening to it too. Where to go?
It's not saying jack shit. However, it burns your hand.
Yeah, it's an immediately drop. Kind of look to Anya and unfortunately in anger. Why didn't you warn me that thing burned?
Didn't burn.
Blind, you could fucking warned me.
There was
As
nothing
you
I could have warned you about.
As you're shaking your hand,
Mm-hmm.
you're coming to realize that it's not where the coin was that burned.
Oh, great.
Rather, something around your wrist that did.
Yeah, you just yeah,
Anya's gonna pick the coin back up.
I'm gonna roll this because I want to see how stealthy she is being. Only 1. Yay, I'm supposed to be good at that. She
What are
is
you trying to
absolutely
do?
She's trying to hide the fact that it wasn't the coin and it was instead something else.
This is actually where I will allow people to try contesting rolls should
I
they
was-
want to.
I was gonna say, can I see if I see through that?
Yes, you can.
What is that?
For stealth, it would be an observation roll.
Oh god damn, I'm not good at those.
No.
You mean the
Right.
things that we're really good at?
One success.
Yay!
Charlie is also supposed to be really good at that, and he's watching the whole interchange pretty closely. So
Do you want to roll for an observation as well?
I would, but it's apparently my cursed roll. So oh no,
All right. So
I got 2 for
unfortunately,
the chat.
yes. Unfortunately for Lily, it looks by the time you start shaking your hand in such a way, it's clear it doesn't really look like it was your hand. To Anya, who is a trained doctor. However, to the ever vigilant author, Charlie, it is noted that not only was it clearly not the coin, but he catches a glimpse of something white and scaly underneath your sleeve.
Would you like some burn cream?
No.
Why don't you let me help you?
I'm fine. As she makes sure that it's now very covered now. Let's someone pick up that blimey thing and let's keep going.
I already picked it up.
All right then.
She's no longer listening to Lily. She's not taking the sass. She's just gonna start walking.
Probably a smart move.
She deals with people every day.
So
Hmm?
Charlie's not calling out on it. Like he's not saying anything about what he noticed about Lily. He's just filing it away. So
as you begin to make your way through Shadow's Rest Park, I'd like everyone to roll vigilance. Yeah.
Oh, no. Nope.
Oh, one success.
All right, one success from Agate, one success from Charlie.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Anya and Lily are both a little preoccupied with what Lily just did and the scene she caused. That they don't notice the sounds of they don't notice a sound that seems to be following them through the forest. Of small hoof beats, but not like half as many as there should be. And a sound of and ah and the occasional giggle. But nothing loud enough to really hone in on. Just a strange little sound that you hear as you walk through the woods.
So this area, just to be clear, I thought the castle was actually like inside of the city. So we've actually left it and we've gone into the woods around.
It's still within the city,
but it's like a game preserve around it or something.
Kind of, yeah. If you look at the map, which I'll put some time on other things, Shadow's Rest Park has a little forested area around the castle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and Charlie he'll like drop his voice fairly low, but he'll say we're not alone.
Yes, something is trailing us. He kind of tries to get a peek over his shoulder without like fully turning around.
They seem to have noticed me. What should I do? Ooh. And that is as much as you hear. But much fainter. Are you aware of it, or is it aware of you? Woohoo. Do you start moving faster? Or are you maintaining the same nonchalant speed that you have been keeping this entire time? As this voice seems to be echoing from every part of the forest.
Doesn't seem like you outrun something that's everywhere in the forest.
Yeah, but does it make you want to leave the forest faster? That's the question.
Have and the two of us that got 0 successes, did we hear any of that?
Oh, you heard it after it was pointed out to you.
All right. Okay. So she's gonna pick up the pace a bit. She's a woman on a mission.
All right. One moment. So just look at another character sheet.
There's a.
I would like you to. I would like you to use an agility just to see how much faster you can get through the forest. Because you're not sure if this thing is an actual cannibal yet.
1 success?
All right, that's 1 success from Anya.
Oh, are we all rolling? Okay.
Yes.
Um,
0.
are we guiding the cart during this?
Right, Agate, did you ever pick up your card again?
No, I've left it at the rest. And 1 success. Nice. Yeah, I'm just kind of planning to go back for it eventually.
Yeah, no.
So Agate and Anya managed to move a little faster. Anya somehow is managing to sidestep things much more easily the than the rest of you, while Agate is well versed in moving through forests like this. Lily O'Connell, still being dressed as high society, is unfortunately not wearing the proper shoes for it. And
And
Charlie
obvious.
has forgotten to wear shoes at all.
It's not really forgotten. It's a lifestyle choice.
Anya's shoes have a slight heel.
And somehow you're completely fine. Actually, your shoes would have heels, but that's more so you can not step in blood.
Yeah, she wears them to work. She's used to, moving fast.
Yeah, so what's your excuse, Lily?
Not used to being in the woods. It's not where I do.
Nobody hurries you in a hoop skirt.
More, she's used to ritualistic rooms than,
There's places with flat floors. And of all one solid consistency. Anyways, you do manage to get out of the forest eventually. It just seems to take you a little bit of time, as Agate and Anya have unfortunately gotten a little ahead of you guys, but still not too far ahead you can't follow successfully. Just the two of you are a little worse for wear by the time you exit the forest. You don't need to mark any conditions or anything like that, but just you're a little scratched up and maybe bruised. And one of you definitely stubbed a toe.
Yeah, definitely when we were starting to fall back, Charlie kind of very naturally fell shoulder to shoulder. Lily was still kind of making sure he stayed with her so that nobody was like alone and separated. Yeah, his feet are not great barefoot in the forest.
She would actually, seeing that you're barefoot, help you. Like she'd have an arm out to help you at some times. But if you go to grab her wrist, it immediately gets pulled away.
It's more like a grateful nod, you know what I'm saying? But like he's not moving to touch her. He's seen and recognized the ways in which she actively avoids touch. And so he's not trying to make that contact. So
All right. So now you stand before the Castle Greenwood, a large fortress that is just imposing to look at. And begs the question, now that you've had this coin, how are you actually getting inside?
I'm gonna roll for this. Let's go. Investigation to see if the best way to get in.
Okay.
No successes. Never mind.
Yeah, you're stumped.
I will.
it's
Also
almost like they
investigation.
make castles to avoid people getting in.
One success.
All right. Is anyone else investigating?
Sure. Although Charlie is mostly kind of looking to Anya since she's the one with the coin.
Yeah. Now, the coin seems to still be heavy, even though you've made your way through the forest at this point. And it seems to just be pointing you towards the front door.
She's
And-
gonna walk up to the front door. Is there
And Charlie, a strange thought has popped into your head, considering how strange everything else has been already. Has anyone considered knocking?
Well, I don't even know we've gotten to the door yet. The directions that we had were to follow the coin and whatever path it set. So
Oh, you guys are
Charlie's
standing
actually
in
just
front of the castle.
okay.
Anya's gonna
Yeah.
try the door.
Yes, and Charlie, having watched Anya walk over to the door, is considering
Well,
knocking.
Anya might have noticed that Charlie actually like walked almost exactly in her footsteps based on the directions that were given. But yeah, then he kind of like looks at her, looks at the door, raps on it once.
Just to put this in order, Anya's, you have successfully walked over to the door. That's not in question. And you're standing there, but right before you would go to try and open it, Charlie knocks on the door. Just a nice, simple rap. And then the door opens.
Is the coin of directional weightiness still being weighty?
The second you step through those doors, it seems to have one solid, consistent weight.
All right. So I guess this is a choose your own adventure now. Where do we go first?
There are
You
the
are
same stories
standing.
about this place as I have. Looking to Anya as the asset.
Sorry, what did you say?
I asked if you've heard the same stories about this place that I have.
Well, I'm not too sure what stories you've heard. But I've heard stories.
I've heard stories of kids who've gone into it and have come out wrong. The ones who accept the dare from their friends to sneak in through the window, climb up to the roof. They're found again, but they're not right.
I've seen. I'm not afraid.
Don't be afraid for the both of us. He moves to head in with her, looks back to see if everybody else is coming too.
Are you?
Lily. Yeah, she'll walk in eventually, but she's very hesitant. She does not trust this mess that is going on.
Yeah. Yeah, once the doors open, take a cautious few steps in. Now that they're like out of the forest, he's kind of swung the hunting rifle down from its position, like kind of across his back down in front of him, just kind of pointing toward the ground, but a bit more ready, just in case something unsavory pops up.
So you are all standing in a large entryway. And just in this entryway, you're just kind of looking around, trying to work out where things would be. And although this castle, from the stories that you've heard and everything that you know about the castle, should be long abandoned and be fairly dismal and dingy, is surprisingly clean. Suspiciously so.
Might I make a vigilance roll?
Absolutely.
Can we all make vigilance rolls?
Absolutely. You can make any roll you want.
Success!
2 success!
All right, I'm counting 4 successes so far, 2 from 2 people.
Nothing from me.
And nothing from Charlie.
Nope.
So,
Women.
Let's go.
because of your fantastic feminine intuition, please don't sue me for that. Uh, you are clearly being watched. Something here is watching you.
I'm gonna look around, and I assume that would be an investigation or an observation.
I would be going, well, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to observe your surroundings? Or are you
I'm
trying to figure out
trying-
where this
Yeah.
feeling of being watched is coming from?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from
Investigation.
and if I can see where it is. Awesome. I'm better at investigation.
And Lily, trying to get them to come out, just says something to the effect
2
of,
success.
let's go. If there's someone here, can you come out and say hi to us? We're not here to hurt anyone. We're just... Some of us are very, very confused.
In the investigating, and a response is heard to Lily's question, which simply comes as, I'm a little busy to come out now. You'll have to come to me. But with the 2 successes in investigation that Anya got, she's able to tell from where the voice is coming from, or at least what direction, and from the continued echoing can find out exactly where it came from.
She's gonna start moving towards it and see if the rest are following.
Is there like a welcome carpet or mat of some kind, like inside the door?
There is a rug.
Okay. Charlie's very carefully wiping his feet and then following after Anya.
Lily is following, if not with Anya, right behind her.
Yeah, I'll kind of take up the rear of the party and just kind of scan for where that voice came from.
As Anya leads you all forward, you eventually end up in this massive, well-kept library. And you see a single figure standing at a bookshelf, kind of just sorting books around, it seems. I would like everyone to make an observation.
One success.
Oh, nothing again.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing from anyone else.
Charlie is totally caught up in the books, like just kind of breath catches for a moment. Looks like he might well be having Christmas in his head.
Can I do a second scan?
You can push the roll, but you will have to take a condition afterwards.
I was just gonna wait to see if she receives any information from anyone else who may have observed better.
So, Lily, as you're watching the hands move, the sleeve slips down slightly, and you can see what look like bone white hands with not finger with less like fingertips and more like sharp points at the ends of the fingers, delicately maneuvering their way through the books. And at seeing this, it's clear something isn't quite right.
Just the rest of the group kind of watch her very slowly. She's not going to touch him, but just walk over. Are you the one that asked us to come here?
Are you the new ones chosen by fate?
We've been told that we are.
I welcome you as the humble librarian of this grand castle.
He turns towards you, and I need everyone that looks at him and can see through in the hook that looks at him as he turns to look at all of you. So everyone, you will need to make a fear check. Now you can use either logic or empathy for this roll. You need to explain why you're using logic or empathy to deal with your fear of seeing a man made of bone plating with no face, no eyes, no discernible real anything about him. Turn and look at you without any way to be knowing that he's looking at you.
How do you want us to roll?
Like I said, you have to make the case for either. Oh, anyone can jump up, and I will give Lily a +1 to her roll due to the fact that she saw some of him already.
Would
But you
this
need to.
be considered a dead or damaged body?
It's more like a golem made from bone meal.
All right. I was just
This is not a dead or
checking.
damaged body that you could discern as such.
Okay.
This is something unnatural.
I will say I'm going to roll logic because it is, with her training, she sees what would be considered scary stuff at work.
All right.
So she kind of just she doesn't usually go into things with her heart.
All right. Give me that roll.
What the fuck?
And you are going to be scared
Okay.
for 2 rounds.
Charlie has seen horrors, genuine horrors, on the battlefield. He's going to be rolling empathy because, the bar for him is seeing people that he had spent months with, and in some cases years with, ripped apart and then devoured. This is a body, and he's seen them before. It's a moving body, it's a talking body, and that's new, but he's been seeing lots of things that are new. And so for him, the reason it's empathy is because he's trying to throttle down the knee-jerk reaction and remember that whatever this thing is, it has drives, and to understand those drives is the only way to understand it.
All right. Give me that empathy roll. And you are scared for 1 round.
Lily, being someone that has seen things and, well, had things kind of shown to her, she knows that there are things out there that she can't explain. So I'm going to use empathy.
All right. Give me that empathy roll. And
2 success.
you are not afraid.
Agot is treating this kind of like staring down a bear that you've just accidentally walked on or walked in on.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go logic as just kind of his hunter instincts take over, and he kind of like unconsciously kind of puffs up his chest and makes himself look a little bit larger.
All right. Give me that roll.
Oof.
You are afraid for 2 rounds. Now, these rounds will not last very long, first and foremost. However, you are all afraid. And when you are afraid, there are a few things that will happen. Or a few things that can happen, I guess. And I'm now just looking for that in the sheet. I should have looked at this better. Basically, you have 4 basic responses. These are fight, flight, and fight, flight, and freeze. What is your reaction to seeing a monster made of what looks like bone plating stand in front of you and just be altogether just something that doesn't fit in the natural order, something that terrifies you for no other reason than it simply exists?
Anya will freeze because no one is hurt as of right now. And she's frozen and trying to figure it out.
Okay.
So Charlie is Lily had been walking up, and he had been sort of absorbed in the books. And so by the time, like he heard the voice and like turned back, I assumed that Lily was like a few steps ahead. And he was taking a half step towards her to kind of like as gently as possible, pull her back when he's at the creature's face. And so instead he's freezing, and he's definitely in a moment of like recalling that like calm before the storm, before gunfire broke out, before everything went to hell. And his hands are trembling, but like there is still an instinct to try to put himself between like this creature and the others. So I don't know if you're going to call that a freeze or fight. He's not actively trying to engage it, but he is trying.
If he's trying to escape, then it would be a
no. He's not trying to flight. He's trying to put himself between the creature and any of the others, except for Lily, who's the closest, because he wasn't to her by then.
All right.
And his hands are like shaking the whole time. Like he's terrified. He's not speaking, but it's the training that he had as a soldier is like all that's happening in his mind right now.
All right. I'll get you between them and kind of in between them. So in between people as much as possible.
So full on hunting instincts have kicked in for Agot, and the hunting rifle that he had down is up and trained on the head question mark of this creature, is slightly shakily, but he's got it
Are
chin
you
firmly
firing?
or cheek is firmly planted, and the patched eye, funnily enough, is the one looking down the rough sights. I don't want to fire yet, but he's got his finger on the trigger. He's waiting for a sign of an attack, but it's more of just he's gone immediately into defensive mode. But it's up and trained on this creature.
All right. Lily, as the only one not afraid, what are you doing?
She, unknowing of the insanity behind her, just continuing on. So you take care of the place then, correctly? Correct?
I more just tend to the books here. Knowledge is so interesting in your world, so far different than mine. You can.
And creature looks past you, Lily, and just.
I always forget that mortals have such a tough time with getting past the initial shock. But I'd say it would be wearing off, at least for one of you now.
Two of us, right?
No, just one of you.
There were two of us that would have had one success and one that had no
One two
success, right?
success, one success, and two non-successes.
Oh, okay. So Charlie, he's like breathing carefully. It's his hands are still shaking. He kind of looks over his shoulder. For a moment, the light catches on the scar that runs from his temple back. That's from where a bullet nearly took him. And he sees the gun that's kind of leveled and looks to the creature, and he moves himself just slightly so that if Agate is pulling the trigger, he's hitting Charlie. So he's acting as a shield in kind of both directions.
Yeah. Creature, after seeing this, will.
How kind you are. But there's no need for me to worry. You, on the other hand, Agate Lek, keeper of the Eye of Sacrifice. You can place your weapons down. I potentially should have done a better introduction than what I have done. You may call me creature, or librarian. I am but one of many who tend to this place. And it would appear that we have new members of the Society of Drowsin. Thank you.
Frets as fuck.
Strange, but we shall not let it perturb us. Thank you, Anya Ronan, trusted of the dead. Lily O'Connell, the third witch's keeper. And Charlie, the boy who fate, the boy who fortune abandoned. Welcome to the new Society of Drowsin.
What did he call her?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Third
I went
witch's
to
keeper.
Oh,
Oh, third witch's keeper? Okay.
Yes. Anya
then-
is trusted of the dead.
thank you.
And with that, we bring a close to this first session.
No.
Vaesen the Devil You Know. Yes. And for those wondering, yes, this is exactly the same creature from the world at large.
That guy gave me a
Fred.
juice box once,
I love it.
and that triggered that.
I don't, but still, this has been the very first session of Vaesen the Devil You Know, Shadows of Society. So with that, I'm running into our outro now. So I'd like to begin with our goodbyes by saying thank you, and thank you to my wonderful, wonderful players. And in no particular order, I would like to thank Charlie for bringing the slight rationalness that seems always necessary in a party. Agate, the one person who seems like he'll be able to handle himself in a fight. Lily, ever secretive. And Anya, I cannot wait to get to know more about Anya and learn more about all of these characters, honestly. So really, thank you, Siosa. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Rory. Of course, thank you to our phenomenal producer, Hellhounds. Truly, this would not be possible without you. Thank you to chat. You've been chatting a bit through the show. Also, thank you for the raid that came. That was a lot of fun. I did notice that.
I'm thinking about what was the comment? What was the comment? Surgery Birkenstocks.
Yes. Yes, I was quite fond of it. There were several in here. The actual cannibal comment I made was something that I actually saw because of chat. Still thank you, yes, you, the viewer, whether you watched us live or on the VOD here on Twitch, or you came to see us on YouTube. If you watched with us here on Twitch, be sure to give us a follow. We are here several days, nights a week. And if you found us via YouTube, please give us a like, comment on what you liked, and hit that subscribe button. It may also help to ring that bell so you can see when we upload. Like the Vaesen of this game, we tend to be erratic and unpredictable about when we show up or upload. Other than that, those are all the things I have to say. And unless someone interrupts me, then, and of course, if I'm not missing anything else, as we always say here at Dirty 20.
Did you thank yourself?
Oh no, of course not.
Thank you, Jacob, our wonderful narrator.
Thank you, Scar.
Yes.
I am on the edge of my ass for next week.
Yes. But yeah, no, other than that, as long as I'm not missing anything, please, as we always say at Dirty 20 Gaming, be nice to each other. Take care.
Night, y'all.